My first angiogram was as a result of being diagnosed with the need for a temporal artery bypass. And this was just to see whether my heart was in a condition to take the surgery.
My cardiologist wanted me to have an angiogram because they discovered my heart was fibrillating, and he wanted to check out to see whether there was any problems with my heart because of that.
As a result of going to the doctor to ask for some Ventolin, she wouldn't give me any until she'd had a look at my pulse. And then she sent me just round next door to have a cardiograph done, where I got a pulse that was as high as a kite and irregular. She said, well, you can't go on like this. So she sent me off to a specialist. And so he said, well, there's no point messing about. Let's start to eliminate all the possible reasons. Let's go for the obvious one first, is you've got reduced arteries in your heart. So let's go and have a look. And if you have, we'll fix it.
I had experience of how an angio went because my father had had a heart problem and been for angios. Part of that was that he was warned that the angio could perhaps go wrong. So initially I had that worry, but once I started talking to doctors about it, my fears were allayed. It was not a problem for me.
Before the operation, I was sent home with a little pile of papers to read, which explained everything about it. As with every other operation, there's always a risk. In your own mind, you weigh up the odds, what the risks are against what the benefits are. He described, which artery he was going to go up and into which portal of the heart, and what he was going to look for and what he was going to do.
The risks involved in having an angio, how the procedure would go, asked me if I had any questions, and told me that prior to the angiogram I would be given like a slight sedative. I signed off on that procedure to authorise them to go ahead with it.
You start off with a little injection just to kill the pain locally in your wrist. You could see what was going on, you could talk to the guy.
They put a catheter either through your wrist or through your groin.
And it goes up into your heart. A little bit of dye gets released, and the fellow can see on the X-ray machine. You can see the dye, and if it's eddy narrowing down, well, there's your problem, and if there's not, then the blue stuff just flows.
It's done under local anesthetic, so you are awake the whole time, but I sort of liken it to being in the dentist chair.
A bit spooky in a way because you were conscious during this process and you could also see what they were doing on a screen. I wasn't scared about it. I felt safe. The staff were very reassuring and somebody would be holding my hand.
And in my case, it was a very quick business because he could just look and see that the problem that he was looking for wasn't there. No need to hang about anymore. Pulled it out and back I went to recovery.
They just monitor you, make sure you're okay, and then you're released. So it's, in most cases, a day procedure.
I went in on I think, early afternoon, and I had a friend pick me up sort of that in the late afternoon. So it was just a few hours.
It's not scary. You're supported all the way. Your results are almost immediately available to your doctor, and then you can have some peace knowing what your treatment is going forward.
The procedure was exactly as the specialist said it would be.